friend. Well, one of the biggest stressors in life comes from trying to control things that really are not ours to control in the first place. Things like relationships, other people's opinions, choices that people make, other people's behaviors. When we grip too tightly, we can end up exhausted, resentful, and disappointed. And that's why these two simple yet profound frameworks can be life-changing. So Mel Robbins, the Let Them theory, and the timeless wisdom of the Serenity Prayer. That's what we're going to talk about today. So at first glance, these two may seem unrelated. One is a modern concept that's going viral online, and the other is an ancient old prayer. But when we put them together side by side, they echo the same truth, the same core truth, that peace comes when we learn to let go. So I heard Mel Robbins on an interview with Kristen Welker, and it was an extensive interview about the Let Them theory. I'll link that in the description for this video. But it was so interesting what she said, because as I had read the book, I thought about, this kind of sounds like some things I've heard before. And sure enough, that's what Mel says on this interview, that it's really about many Stoic concepts, and it also echoes the words of the Serenity Prayer. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how both of those go together. So the Let Them theory is very simple, 2 words, let them, but it's also very radical. The Let Them theory suggests that when people show you who they are through their choices and their actions towards you or maybe other people, whatever it is that people do, you can simply let them. And so instead of wasting your energy fighting to change or fix or convince them, you simply step back. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't care, and it doesn't mean that you approve of what they've done, but it simply means that you acknowledge their autonomy and you release yourself from carrying the responsibility of their actions. When you let them, you stop trying to get their validation, and you stop draining your energy trying to rewrite someone else's script. Just think about that for a minute. Wasting our energy to try and rewrite someone else's script. That's not really something that we can do anyway. So we need to let go and let them. And when we do this, we create space that is in alignment with our values and our peace. And so it's both an act of courage and surrender at the same time. Hi, friends. Well, I am so excited to invite you to a special book club discussion that I'm hosting on October 13th. And it's about all the things we've been talking about, the Let Them theory. And this book is a best-selling book by Mel Robbins. This book is packed with wisdom about letting go of other people's opinions and freeing ourselves from guilt and people-pleasing, and really learning how to fully live in to our own truth, to our authentic self. And so in this live discussion, we are going to dive into the concepts that really transform how you see yourself and your relationships. So mark your calendars for October 13th and join me. I can't wait to see you there and to share the insights and the support that we can give each other in shifting our frame and living into our truth. So I'll put the link below in the description and you can register there. And so please join us. I think it's going to be a really good discussion about this really, really important book, really kind of life-changing book. And the Serenity Prayer is wisdom in discernment. Okay? So the Serenity Prayer is often used in recovery communities like AA or NA, and it goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And for me, this has been a powerful prayer throughout my life. I've used it often when I run into difficult situations. And now I found the let them theory. So the Serenity Prayer and the let them theory both calls us to accept reality. To accept reality as it is instead of fighting what is outside of our power. And again, that's so useless to try and do. But it also challenges us to step into courage when something is within our ability to control it. So we change the things that we can change. Now, we can't change how people treat us, but we can change how we respond. We can't change how people respect or disrespect our boundaries, but we can control if we enforce our boundaries or reinforce our boundaries. And we can't control when someone stays in our life, but what we can do is we can control whether we cling to them or we let them go and have peace. So the prayer gives us wisdom. It helps us to distinguish between what's ours and what isn't ours. And the let them theory gives us an action step. Because when you recognize something isn't in your control, what do? Well, those two simple words, we let them. We know it's not in our control. We let it go. And together, these two teach us acceptance. Acceptance to stop fighting reality when someone chooses something different. These two concepts also give us courage to redirect our energy into what is ours to do, our choices, our healing, and our own growth. And it gives us wisdom to recognize that letting go isn't a weakness, it's actually a strength. It's clarity about the things you can change and the things you cannot change. So when I first heard the let them theory, I felt both a sting and a sense of relief. It didn't quite set with me when I was reading the first couple of chapters in the book. But then as I got into it, it reminded me of the times when I was exhausted trying to change someone else's opinion, trying to change their opinion of me to keep the relationship afloat. How often have you tried to do that? And I thought, if I just said the right thing, if I just gave enough, if I just tried harder, then they would shift. Then they would want to stay in a relationship with me. They wouldn't reject me. They wouldn't abandon me. But in those moments, what I was trying to do is I was trying to control the uncontrollable. And the Serenity Prayer reminds me that I have a choice, that I can honor myself, that I can step back and I can invest in the places where love flows freely, that I can care for myself. So how can we use this in our everyday life? Well, if you want to bring these truths into your daily practice, here are some things that you can try, some simple reflections. The first thing is to notice. Just pause again, always the pause. Pause and notice. Where am I trying to control something that is not mine to control? And then the second thing is to discern. Is it something that I can change? Or is it something that I simply need to accept? Now, again, accepting something doesn't mean we believe it's okay, that we agree with it, but we recognize it is what it is. And we can accept it and stop spending our energy, our mental, emotional energy on wishing and hoping that things would be different. And then the third thing, which is so important, is to act. In the let them theory, we have the let them and the let me. In the Serenity Prayer, we have the things we cannot change and the things we can change. And so to act, to do what we can do, what is within our control. Okay? So both the Serenity Prayer and the let them theory call us to peace. They really call us home to ourselves too. They remind us that we don't need to grip so tightly to people or outcomes or circumstances. Our power lies not in controlling others, but in choosing what is our response. What is our response to things? So when you find yourself exhausted from trying to manage everything and everyone, just pause, take a breath, and whisper the words of the prayer. Remember the wisdom of the let them, and know that in letting go, you're not losing control, you're gaining peace. All right, thanks so much for being here today. If you'd like more videos about the let them theory, just click on these up here.